Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about after you go no contact from the narcissist, what you can expect. Because right now I am flooded with so many questions, concerns from other survivors who are trying to break away from the narcissist and who are taking the steps to get away from a narcissist. And they're just all these things are happening and they want clarification on it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and make a video. So you guys actually play a big role oftentimes in the topics and the type of videos that I end up putting up on the channel. I always have a running list. I keep a running list of topics and ideas that I'm going to discuss with you guys that I feel is relevant. A lot of times it gets intercepted, such as right now when I get flooded with questions about whatever it is. And I'm like, you know what? This video is going to take precedence over the video that I was about to make because it's just so many people. And, my discernment lets me know, you know what? This has to be the next one. And that's what's happening with this video. But let's talk about it, guys. What happens after you go no contact from a narcissist? Survivors think that when they initially block this narcissist, that the narcissist is going to get the memo that, hey, I don't want to be bothered with you anymore, and that they're just going to go away. And I'm going to tell you, 99.9% of the time, this simply will not be the case. The narcissist is not going to get the memo that you want them to go away. No, this is not what's going to happen. What's going to happen after you try to block this narcissist, or you literally block them, they're going to increase. It's going to pull them into you, actually. So, yeah, if you want to pull the narcissist back into you, actually cut the attention off that they were used to getting from you. That is going to get their attention. Because even if you weren't even the primary source, they're going to notice that. And because they're very selfish and they're very territorial, they're very greedy, and they see things as items, they don't want to lose anything. They want to keep everything that they have. But then if you know that you were basically the primary source, or you were up high priority in that narcissist's life, and you just cut them off, they are not going to go away quietly. Because this has now caused a narcissistic injury in them. And this is all about their ego and their pride. They never want to feel like the one that has been abandoned. They never want to feel like the one that is dumped. And you might say, well, Lakia, they discarded me. So basically, they dumped you and you just accepted it this time, or you didn't really give that fight, or maybe you said a few things and then you just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. You walked away from the situation. But even with that, they're expecting you to chase. I've made videos about reasons why the narcissist discards a supply, and oftentimes it's to punish you, not to actually get rid of you permanently. They want to have their main supplies. They want to be juggling you guys for a lifetime. And you may go up and down as primary and secondary and third, primary, secondary, and third. And they have, this ultimate triangle or whatever of supply, and they're just jumping back and forth. But you think they're dumping you. No, they're just punishing you. And they have somebody else that can fulfill the things that they were getting from you, so they're okay with punishing you and discarding you and starting that love bomb cycle elsewhere. Because I told you guys in other videos, while they're discarding you, they're love bombing someone else. While they're love bombing you, they're discarding somebody else. This is how that goes. So when you try to get out of the cycle of abuse, because that's what you're doing, because they're not taking you out of the cycle of abuse, chances are. They're just, dealing with another supply and punishing you and discarding you at that moment. So that's one confusion right there. You think that they're doing a final discard on you. And chances are that's not what's happening. And I don't care how nasty and ugly and dirty that last argument or that last discard was. Narcissists are very dysfunctional. They are the people that can, they thrive out of that. They don't want you healthy anyway. So the nastier that it gets between you guys, the more toxic and dysfunctional it is, that's fine with them. As long as they can still get the supply that they wanted from you, whatever it was that you were providing to that narcissist, it's not a final discard. If they can still get that from you with all the dysfunction, it's all the better for them, because you're not going to be in a healthy space to do healthy things, which would actually, the healthier you get, you're going to be pulling away from them. Okay, so that's number one that you need to understand. If you discard the narcissist, it's actually going to pull them into you. Okay, they're going to be blowing up your phone. You're going to feel like you have a stalker on your hand, because it's like they're losing breath right now and they're gasping for air. Like, oh my gosh, I lost control. They're used to you chasing them every time, trying to figure out, well, what's wrong? Can't we figure it out? They're used to you almost begging them for another chance, trying to revive the relationship, holding on by a thread. They're used to you being this way with them. So when you actually go silent, you're going to get their attention, because it was never their intention to be done with you permanently. Okay, they just wanted to go over to another supply, and they had an opportunity to discard you and punish you in the cycle of abuse. All right, so when you block the narcissist, you can expect them to start blowing you up. Yes, if you block that phone number, they're going to call from all different numbers that they can find. They're going to use the apps that they have. They're going to go on social media. They're going to create other social medias. Yes, they will keep doing this. They will keep doing this. And then what else can you expect? They're going to, if they feel like you haven't blocked their social media, perhaps you've only blocked them from being able to call and text you or email you or something, they will use their social media to try to punish you. So whoever they have in that slot now for the primary, now you're going to see about that other woman. Now it's time for them to break out those pictures. Now they're going to be posting that up to tear you up. They're going to be doing that to you next. And this is where curiosity can kill the cat in a certain sense. So, you might block them from your phone, and then you might want to keep tabs on their social media, because most survivors go through that phase, just wondering like, well, what are they up to? I mean, yeah, I broke up, because you're still attached to them in a certain sense. Because even though you got strong in that moment to block them and you decided you're going to break away, you still, chances are, that soul tie is still active. The trauma bond is still there. You're still in the very, very beginning phases of even breaking away from the gaslighting and all the illusions and lies and the smoke mirrors that you fell for. You're sorting things out. You're sorting out the truth and the lies. You're in the beginning of that. So you're still, trauma bonded to this narcissist. So it's going to keep you still doing some toxic things that aren't going to really help you, but it's typical, a part of the phases that survivors go through. So yes, now you may be looking at his social media or her social media, and this is where they're going to have a field day with you. And they're going to post how they're not going to, even though they're blowing you up on the phone, they're going to be posting the most happiest life. But think about that. Why are they blowing you up if they're so happy with this person? If they're so happy with this other supply, why do they need to be blowing you up? You see what I'm saying? See that inconsistency right there? So the narcissists aren't showing that they're stalking you from all these numbers and you keep blocking them. They're not showing that on social media. So that's the fake mask. That's them. You're getting a front row seat to somebody else's love bomb stage or period with a narcissist. So yes, they're going to use social media. They're going to use social media to trigger you, to try to break you down so that you will break your no contact and they will be able to slither back in. Okay? What is something else that they're going to do? Something else that the narcissist is going to do is they're going to create an emergency. Trust me. They will do and say anything to get you to let your guard back down. All of a sudden, I have to tell you something. Or I'm sick in the hospital. Or someone's passing away. Or you have things that belong to me. They're going to create an emergency. They're going to try to create situations that they feel like would make you have to communicate with them on some type of level. All right. So they're going to try to create an emergency for communications with you. And this is what you don't need to fall for. This is what you don't need to fall for. You have to tell me something. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. But a lot of times survivors are still too curious because, like I said, when this is happening initially, you're still in your toxic frame of mind. You're not over the narcissist yet. So a part of you is wondering, well, and you still probably holding on to a thread because your actions aren't really in alignment with your mental. You're doing an action that you know you should do, even if you didn't really feel 100% like you should do it. You see what I'm saying? So there's still that tiny part of you, if anything, that may be wondering, well, maybe he does miss me or she does miss me, or maybe this is the time that they're going to see what they lost. But I'm going to tell you guys, the narcissist will never see your worth, okay? Get that through your mind because they weren't really getting to know you. They were just getting to know the supply they wanted to get from you. And they were pretending to get to know the bare minimum of what they had to get to know to be able to get to that supply. That's basically what happened. And that's why they don't care about you as a person. And that's why they're able to treat you the way that they treat you over and over and over and take you for granted. So, know that when they're trying to, create emergency situations for communications, they're desperate. They are working from a desperate place at this point because now you have the upper hand and they never want anyone to have, or they don't want to feel like someone got the upper hand on them. All right. So this is where you could really stand in your power and really keep that clean cut. And you had the final say, even if they were the ones who initially ended it. But because you did not resist it, because you let it go, and then they were chasing you, which was a trick. They were just chasing you so that they could regain in their mind what they would feel like would be the upper hand and then punish you and discard you. Now, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to say anything they have to do to get you to drop your guard down initially, but then you will see that swiftly you will be punished for that behavior and then discarded very cruelly. Okay? But understanding this about the narcissist, guys, hopefully will help you maintain this no contact. All right? Because once you block them, you've caused, like I said, a narcissistic injury. And all they will want to do is get some payback on you. All right? If you have moved on to another relationship or for some reason, they will want to come in between that. Trust me. And once they know that they've ruined that relationship, because you might be one of those people that Well, I had 8 years with the narcissist and only have 1 month with them. I put in more time with the narcissist. Loyalty isn't who you've spent the most time with. It's who can actually treat you good and give you what you need and what you deserve. Because that narcissist was a bad wife, a bad husband, a bad boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever for the whole time, basically. And when we understand how the love bomb phase work, and I've made videos debunking that, you'll see how that's even more the worst part of it all. Because they're playing with your emotions. You gonna pretend like you care about me like that, knowing you don't, just to play me to get X, Y, and Z from me? That's highly offensive, guys. So you gotta step into your truth. You gotta step into your truth. When you block them, it is a rejection to them. Even if they are the ones who threw the first punch, who basically discarded you. They want their supplies to chase them and want them for life. They want to keep you on that tightrope, trying to vie for their attention no matter what they're doing. I know that's very arrogant and egotistical, but this is exactly what they're expecting. They want you to be so hooked on them like a drug that you are always waiting for that next high, and you will take the lows of the lows just to get to that love bomb phase with them again. And they discard you and treat you horrible, and they're over there love bombing somebody else in front of your face, but you're so much of a junkie for them that you're just waiting for your turn to come back and begging for it. Basically, this is what they want. But when you don't do that, you flip the script on them and they become the junkie for you, because they were always a junkie for you. They were just a functioning alcoholic, if you will. They were a functioning junkie. So it wasn't obvious to you because they're putting you through this cycle of abuse. But what you need to understand is when they're discarding you, they're just adding another drug. They're just juggling drugs. They're junkies for all of the drugs. It's just, okay, well, yeah, you're my weed. And today I'm drinking my Grey Goose. And tomorrow I'll have my cigarettes. They are all supplies. These are all drugs to the narcissist. It's just, they want this high today. They want that high tomorrow. And that's how that goes. And meanwhile, they quote unquote functioning, but not even, because they all have to hit that devalue and discard. So I don't even know if functioning is quite the word, but I'm just using it because it slips past the survivor's mind. And in our perceptions, we see them functioning. That's the illusion that they're giving. But they're the true junkies, because look at that. Look what happens when you took that drug away from them. Look what happens when you're not giving them that supply. They're losing it. They're going through withdrawal. Okay? This is why they have to have another supply lined up, guys. They have to have another supply lined up. They got to get high somewhere. They can't just be without any drugs. That's too much. They got too much going on in their minds. They have too much chaos up in there and traumas that they've gone through. And I'm not saying that for you to give them sympathy. Just letting you know that they're really broken and messed up. And it's even more of a reason for you to understand that they can't give you what you need. They can't. They just can't. That is a check they cannot write, and they darn sure can't cash it. Okay? And even the supply that you're giving them, they're not even utilizing it properly. Because they're not accepting your love. They're not. They are on the lowest grade of accepting whatever you're giving them, and they can't even accept all of it. And that's why they're constantly rejecting pieces and parts of it, the most beautiful parts of it, because they can't accept what they can't give. Okay, guys? They can't accept what they can't give as far as, the love part of things. They can accept your money even if they can't give you money, okay? Let's clarify that. These are material things. But they can't accept the fruit of the Spirit, if you will. And I've made a video about the fruit of the Spirit. For those of you who do not know what that is, we're in 20 minutes here and I'm not going to go into it. You can Google the fruits of the Spirit as well. But I have made videos on that and why they can't accept it and how they spend the whole relationship rejecting that. And perhaps I'll find it and tag it underneath here. Okay. But I hope that this is giving someone clarification. All right. And then for those of you who are watching the social media, I always say fill the voids. You got to fill the voids. Find what else can you do? When you feel triggered to watch their social media, what else can you do instead? Do that. Try to do that. If that doesn't work, try something else next time. I know I had like an accountability partner, my closest friend. Instead of calling him, I would call her and vent to her. Hey, that's better than calling him and venting to him and opening that window up for him to cause more offenses, get back into my emotions when I'm trying to break that off. So you guys have to replace one behavior with another if you are stuck in that phase of stalking the narcissist and their social media. And if you are stuck in the mind frame of, well, maybe he's sorry, maybe she realizes what she has now. No, she just wants the supply back. Trust me on that. And for some of you, just think about the length of the relationship. You mean to tell me it's taken them all these years upon years to realize it? And they just changed overnight, which is highly unlikely, guys. Highly unlikely. So don't gaslight yourself with that. They have not changed. They just don't want you to change. Okay? They have not changed. They just don't want you to change. And this video is very relevant because it's the holidays. Yes, narcissists will pop up during the holidays to try to ruin it for you, especially if they see you moving on happily, or to try to get back in to get their supply. Maybe the supply could be, my birthday's coming up. Christmas is coming up. I want this and that from my supply. And then right after the holidays, they're going to dump you. Or right after they get that gift, it's over. Right after they used you for what they wanted to, now you're going into the devalue and discard phase while they're love bombing someone else. All right. So I want you guys to see angles and peep the game. Peep the game, guys. All right. So I really hope that this helps someone understands, what's happening to the narcissist when you're blocking them. All right. You're taking your power back. You're making them smaller and weak in your life. And that's a wonderful thing. Do not feel bad about that. They will throw a tantrum like a kid in a candy store that's not getting the candy they wanted, like a spoiled brat that's used to always getting their way. They're going to throw that tantrum. And sometimes it goes to a high level where you have to end up getting a restraining order, where you have to make police reports. And you keep a paper trail, okay? Keep a paper trail of these things and do not respond to them. So when you go to the authorities, they're going to see this one-sided situation. And this person continues to, threaten you, to stalk you, to harass you, basically. Because you're not playing tennis with them. You're not hitting the ball back for them to hit back. You're not corresponding. Don't. Do what you have to do to stay safe and protect yourself. And I know it's a nuisance. But sometimes when you were such a good supply to them, they just can't help it. They can't. They will act a fool. They will act a fool. And you will be like, what? For the person that act like they didn't give nothing, didn't care about me the whole time, they're doing all of this. It is all their ego and their pride. It is all their ego and their pride. But now you're seeing how unstable they actually are. All right? Because I don't want to be where I'm not welcomed. They think they can just bone rush themselves wherever they want. And once they make you their supply, they feel like, look, you're mine for life. Trust me on that. But guess what? You have that final say, not them. Keep exercising it and keep doing the right thing. And if you need help staying strong in this stage, I do offer coaching. All right. I do this over the phone. I do FaceTime. I do Skype. I do email coaching. Go to LaKiaCrawford.com. You can book your appointments through there. All right. Hit me up. Many ways to get in contact with me, guys. All right. And we'll schedule you a session. Invest in yourself. All right. All survivors need that therapy to really get them over the hump. And if you are stuck in a healing process, it will get you over the hump. All right. So if this video resonates with you, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I do upload videos quite frequently. All right. I always take video suggestions. I get them every day. And if you have suggested a video, look out for it. I do have a playlist called Viewer Suggested Videos. You can find it under there, so you can check it daily to see if it's been uploaded. Or, make sure you're hitting the bell so that you're notified when I do upload videos. All right, your video is pending and I haven't forgotten. All right, keep doing the work, guys. Keep doing the work. Go to my website. Lots of information there that you can find out about my books, the No Narc Zone merchandise. Go ahead. Feel free to take a look at all of that stuff. All right. Best ways to support the channel is always to like my videos, guys. Share, comment. This helps YouTube algorithm push the information. All right. All right, guys. Keep doing the work. Stay no contact. And until next time, please take care.